is going to be about creating the mouth for the monkey that we've been working on. So you've done the head shape, the face shape, and now the ears. And now it's time for the mouth shape. Now to make this easy, and notice I've gone ahead and added my colors. But to make this easy, I'm going to lock what you see here so far, so that other things don't move around while I'm working on the mouth. Command A on your keyboard will select every single thing that's on your monkey, that's on your document at this point. And actually, even if you had shapes on the outside of the document, it would select those as well. So you have to know what you've got out there and what you want to lock or not lock. While that's all selected with Command A, then I'm going to hit Command 2, and that's going to lock that. So now all of these shapes are locked and I can't move them. Okay, I'm going to go to an oval, and I'm going to use my eyedropper to get my color because I want this same brown color, the darker brown color here, and no stroke. Okay, so it's important, fill, but no stroke. Then I'm going to go to the oval tool, okay, or excuse me, the ellipse tool. And I'm going to make an ellipse just kind of in this general area. Obviously, that's not centered. I can always come back and center that later. Now, the first thing I need to do with this that they talk about in his main video is we want to create an effect with this. And so we're going to hit arc. Okay, so just again, I went to effect and warp and arc. All right, now I can play around with these settings vertically or horizontally. He is all only in the vertical portion, and that is really your choice as to how much or whatever you want to do with that. The distortion is something that he plays with too, and I think this is pretty similar. Actually, let's look at doing it the other way around. I can drop the horizontal, bring up the vertical. Okay, and of course I can still play with this even after we do these effects. And I will. I'll be altering this even more after I create it. Okay, and so I'm gonna say, I'm trying to think. Let's alter that. No. You can see the number of options in doing this, but you know what? We're just going to stick with this. Okay. So I've gone on the negative for the horizontal, and I've gone on the vertical for in the positive numbers. So it did about 23%, 31% negative. This is in the distortion part. Up here in the bend part, I'm on horizontal and still on arc. Okay, and I went positive on that, so it's a positive number. So it's the bend is going upwards horizontally. Okay, and then I'm going to hit OK. And so this is the shape that I end up with. Now, what we learned earlier in other assignments is the importance of telling Illustrator what your new shape is. So this thinks it's an ellipse, but it's not anymore. It's this odd shaped ellipse, I guess you could say. And so we need to tell Illustrator that. So with that selected with the black arrow, I'm going to go Object, Expand Selection. And now it's going to acknowledge that as a new shape. Okay, I'm going to center that in the middle of the head there. We can see that with our smart guides. I'm going to hold Option and then drag it in that way so that it's less wide. I think it was too wide, as it were. I'm going to hit the A key for the direct, so that takes me directly to the white arrow. And I'm going to just maybe manipulate some of these a little bit, make this a little bit rounder, a little bit more organic. And I'm just going to drag these handles. There is literally no right or wrong to this shape. It's just totally what you want to do. But he did give us an indication in the video of kind of the gist of what it's supposed to look like. And so that helps. It helps you kind of frame maybe what you're going to do there. But that's it. Otherwise, it's really up to you. So, okay, I am pleased with that. It looks similar to his video. I think it'll be an interesting shape for the mouth. And now I'm going to go to the black arrow. Okay, so again, I want to make sure this is centered, and I'm moving it a little bit because once I changed it, it wasn't quite centered. Okay, now we need to make a copy of this. So we're going to Command C and Command F. So now I have a copy on top of that. So there are two exact shapes on top of each other. Of course, I can only see one. Now I'm going to go to the ellipse tool again. And I'm going to click and drag over the middle of this mouth. Okay, so I'm really exceeding the mouth. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. What I'm trying to do is to create a shape over here and a shape over here, and I'm going to use this shape to cut that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the black arrow. I'm going to go to the original shape, and again, I'm going to Command C and Command F. Then I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to get this front shape. And then I'm going to go to minus front. And so you're going to see we end up with this background shape with the brown, and now I've got the sides of the inside of the mouth. And in the video they use a different color for that, and so we're going to do that as well. So we're going to take, while this is selected, we're going to take the eyedropper, and could be whatever color you have, but if you've already made your ears, which you should have, the shadow of the ear is going to work good for the shadow of the mouth. And so all I did was, with that shape selected, I got the eyedropper tool and I picked up this color so that I've got some coordination there in my colors. And so there I'm using that same darker pink color. So this is in general what you should have. Now notice that you have a background shape, which is your brown, and then you have the foreground shape, which is your two sides here. They're technically one shape together, but you can see they're not touching. Okay, so we've got this insides of the mouth, kind of like a shadow to the left and the right. Okay, now we need to make that little back of the tonsil type thing back there. It's not actually tonsils, but I never remember what it's called. We're going to go ahead and make another oval. We're going to do that by kind of like dropping it in this general area. Okay, now in the video, I'm going to take the black arrow and move that down a little bit. In the video, he makes he wants that to see that curvature. And so he wants to make this part to be very pointy. Actually, I'm going to hold Shift and make this a little bit skinnier. Or excuse me, not Shift. I held Option and drag it from the sides, make it a little bit skinnier. I'm going to go to the white arrow, and then I'm going to click this top point. Notice that it's still a rounded point. I'm going to alter that. I'm going to convert it. And up here you can see the menu for doing that. Convert selected anchor point to a corner. And so I'm going to hit corner. And that's how I'm going to end up with that shape that he's got in the video. Now back to the black arrow. I think I want to squish it just a little bit and drop it down. And so you'll see that it has a chance to curve inward here, but we need to cut this because we don't want that part to exceed the mouth. And so we're going to do a similar thing that we just did. And so we're going to select the background shape, okay? And we are going to Command C and Command F. So now I have two of those dark brown mouth shapes. I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to click the little new shape that we made. And we are going to, again, minus front. So I went to Pathfinder, I'll Command Z that. I went to Pathfinder right here, and I did the second option, minus front. Now, it looks like my other stuff went away, but in fact, it's all still here. Now, the very background shape, we need that to be this very big one brown shape. We actually now need to make that our pink color also. So with that selected, okay, so notice I flash over that and I get other things, but this brown shape on top is by itself. Where it's selected, we get the eyedropper and we get the pink. Now that means my very back shape is pink, okay? Now the shape on top is brown, but I want to send that backwards so that the pink sides show up again. So I'm with the brown shape now selected, I'm going to send it back a little bit at the time. So I'm going to send backwards, and yours may need to go more than one click. Mine was just one. Object, arrange, send backward. And that revealed the sides. And so now if I click off to the side, I have this shape with really 3 layers: pink in the front, brown in the middle, and then pink in the back. And the brown is cutting out, so to reveal that pink, and the pink in the front is just these two shapes that are actually considered one shape, but they're not touching. So if any of that was confusing, feel free to go back, watch it slowly, pause, rewind, whatever you need. But that is how you would get that completed mouth shape. Thank you for listening.